All right, bro. So great success. I'm finally done with ULTY as well as LFGY, GPTY, the back data, the backend data, and all the P&L calculations. So with that said, in this video, we'll go over the estimates for the weekly YieldMax funds, and I will also explain the changes we've done. I literally spent 2 weeks working on this stuff. I made a bunch of videos about ULTY last week, uh, but anyway, that's old news. I'll explain everything in this video. So why I'm starting with ULTY and not YMAX and YMAG, bro? Check this out. This guy, this is like 5 days old, posted in a YieldMax ETFs subreddit. The guy's buying like 5,000 shares of ULTY several times a month. Okay, so just for fun, I calculated how many shares this guy has. So based on this amount of dividends he got on June 27th, all right, that comes out to 310,000 shares. And just for shits and giggles, so right now, let's take a look at, no, this is Misty. We just did Misty video. We're sitting at 122 million shares currently as of today, July 1st. And so quick math. Okay, so 0.31, that's how many thousand shares this guy has divided by 122 million. Boom. He owns 0.25% of all shares of ULTY. This is completely insane. Anyway, bro, the hype about ULTY is real, and so with that said, we're going to do ULTY in this video. I'll spend a little bit more time on this fund than on the others, but this applies to every fund of the YieldMax family that trades stocks and options. Okay, so that's LFGY, CHPY, GPTY, and a couple of others. Anyway, before we begin, this is not a financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy or sell this funds. Just showing you the information that I've dug up by building this archive for more than a year now and spending literally 10, 12 hours a day working on the back end to create this YieldMax tracker. So for that hard work, bro, I really would appreciate if you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I will finally be able to make a bullish video, my bullish take on the ULTY, because now I have all the data that I need. So yeah, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comment section how many shares of ULTY you have. I've noticed a big trend of people switching from Misty to ULTY. If you're one of those jumping ship and going into ULTY, let me know. I am starting to like this fund. But anyway, so another thing, we're running the last week of 25% lifetime sale for YieldMax tracker. So the link is in the description. If you click the link, it will apply the 25% discount right away. I'll also put a coupon code here on the screen, also at the end of the video. But let's talk about the changes that were made. So like a week ago, I made 3 videos, one after another, back to back, about ULTY having not only options P&L. P&L means profit and loss. Okay, so they trade options and they also trade stocks. But in the previous version of this tracker, we had basically buys and sells information only, and it was in this table, in the rolling P&L table. However, that was just debits and credits. There wasn't actual profit and loss. But finally, I dug into this because we really needed to calculate cost basis for the stocks, for the stock trades. Okay, and so I had to go as far as a year because some trades we couldn't find a matching buy. So for sales, we couldn't find a matching buy. So finally, I was able to square everything away and test, and I had to go literally for some trades on stocks as far as a year back. Okay, and the good thing is that I have the data going back to June of last year, June or July, yeah. But anyway, this project has been coming along for a long time. I've been working on this, and it's good that I started collecting the data back then. So I scrolled down here, and this is the trades for just one day, for June 27th. Okay, this is last week, and you can see here the buys, when we don't count that as a P&L or profit and loss. We only count the sales, and in the sales, we look at the cost basis or how much they paid for those shares. And so like you can scroll through different days, like over here they actually, so the MU or Micron, I believe it's Micron, let's open it, they bought those shares this week, like on Tuesday or something like that, on the 24th. You can see here they bought for $1.27. So this was easy to find the cost basis. So they paid 127.66, and then 2 days later freaking sell those at a $350,000 loss. Well, it is what it is, but for the whole cycle, they've made 20 $7 million. Okay, that is completely awesome. And I'm scrolling all the way to the top because there's the insane amount of trades. Sorry that I move everything so fast. But so here we finally have a options P&L per share and also stock P&L. So that $27 million they made this week shows up here, and then we add these numbers together and we get 13 cents per share, rounded up $14 million per for the whole fund. That's net income or P&L for the cycle. Okay, then we're sitting on unrealized gain of 59 cents per share. That's almost 10%. And also, like, market was down today, tomorrow it might go up, we don't know, but this is unrealized until they sell. And the good thing about this stuff, it does not expire. This is all stocks, so there's no expiration on it. It's not synthetic. They don't have to roll it. They already own the stock. And if the market keeps going, slightly up, they will be making more money along the way. Just hopefully they stop losing money on the synthetic, on the options. Okay, and so finally in this rolling P&L, I have this rolling table. Okay, it's right here. So the stock P&L per share, and combined P&L is finally taking into account the actual profit and loss from trades on the stocks. Okay, and as you can see, somewhere around March they started this so-called new method, but I actually went back and I didn't find any significant differences with like 6 months ago in the way how they trade. Like, they buy puts, they sell calls, and sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. But anyway, you can see this year, especially since they went weekly with the new strategy, they haven't been making money on the options. That's very unfortunate, but they've been making a lot of money since like April on the stock trades, and so that helped them overall. There's like $10 million net profit on the stock trades, only 8 cents per share, but you have to count massive losses in the beginning of the year, like over here 5.5 million, 4 million, 11 million, then like another 8 million over here in April. But April, that was like market was going down. That was like the bottom of the Trump tariff thing. The liberation or liquidation day was April 2nd, and so the whole week market was up and down, and like April 11th, I think it made another bottom. Anyway, so since then they've been making money on the stock trades, and that helps out with the P&L tremendously. So they basically break even for the year, down 4.5 cents or 4.88 cents. But anyway, so this is the final nail in the coffin, so to say, into the accuracy of these estimates. And so now we can build our estimates based on both options and stock P&L. And so with that said, here's the estimate for ULTY. I know, bro, it's taken very long, but I think it's very cool that I finally got this working. Seriously spent like 30-40 hours just working on this part alone. So okay, the estimate is, since they made 13 cents per share this cycle, finally we have a about 10 cent, I would say 10.5 cent dividend payment coming up, and that's also including like a dropping IV. So the implied volatility on most of the underlying stocks for ULTY has been going down. In fact, today it probably went down a little bit more, but I don't know. We'll have to update the IV for all the stocks. And it's blended IV, meaning we take the IV of all the holdings, and then we go by weighting. So they don't have equal weighting into different stocks. Some have more, some have less. And so this is a blended IV based on the percentage of ownership in the fund. Okay, but it's more or less accurate. So IV estimate is 8 cents, but I think they'll pay around 10.5. And so the yield on that is between 70 to almost 100%. I don't think they'll pay 100% yield, but this was a good week. They made money, so awesome. And again, bro, check this out. Like, the number of outstanding shares, people are jumping into this fund like crazy. I want to go back to, not this guy. This guy is amazing. He owns 0.25% of all the shares. But here's another guy. I saved this. He has 40,000 shares, which is also a lot. $250,000. By the way, this guy's position, unless he's been buying more, is about $2 million. So good for him, bro. I'm jealous. He's getting almost 30 grand a month or a week in dividends. So that's amazing. I don't know if he's using margin or not, but anyway, yeah, good luck to all the ULTY holders. Again, I'll be making like a deep overview bullish case for ULTY. That's a separate video coming up soon. But now that I'm done with all the back end for this stuff. Okay, let's move on to tremendous. I think I screwed up the YMAX. I fixed one thing and then screw up the other. Okay, let me pause and I'll try to fix it real quick and add it into the video. All right, bro, this was a quick fix. Just had to exclude YMAX, YMAG, Fiat, and 5e from the stock trading ETFs like ULTY, LFGY, CHPY, etc. And we're back to normal. Okay, so YMAX is very clean and simple. They just hold basically YieldMax weekly ETFs, excluding the short ones. So the group, I mean, not weekly, the group ETFs, excluding the short ones. And they collect the dividends for every share that they hold. And then they bunch them up and pay out the dividends to the shareholders of YMAX. And our estimate on them is usually very, very accurate. So we can completely ignore the IV estimate, because if you look here, no, this over here. Oh, wow, look at that. We used to run like a very tight variance. No, this is incorrect. I don't know why it's showing this dividend here. It should have been updated with whatever they paid. But anyway, so as you can see here, the variance is within 1-2%. So this is how much money they made, 15 cents per share last cycle, and they'll pay about 15 cents per share during this week. So plus or minus 1%, give or take, but it's very accurate with my YMAX. Okay, so yeah, that's what you can expect, and the yield is pretty respectable, still like 56-58%. I like it. And by the way, bro, I know ULTY is like all the rage, but I did a quick comparison. So this is a 6-way compare tool that we just released. I think it's super cool, but I just ran msty, ULTY, and YMAX since the beginning of the year with the same investment. And so this year, to date, msty is beating everybody. It's up 20%. Total return with DRIP, and you can also do without DRIP. Okay, still msty is leading the way. So without DRIP, YMAX is beating ULTY, which is completely crazy. Let me zoom in so you can see this better. You see the yellow line is YMAX and ULTY is the green line. Now with DRIP, if you reinvest the dividends, ULTY came up on top in the last, basically in June. It only reclaimed the top place from YMAX in June, so just the last couple of weeks. The rest of this time, it was neck and neck, but YMAX was kind of leading. And again, msty is in the top spot. And here we have the table of all the returns, the final values, all of that good stuff. If you want to try this, basically like over here under compare link, you can see 6-way compare. I think it's a very cool tool. But anyway, going back to YMAX, so we're expecting about 15-cent payment, plus or minus a little bit. Okay, now YMAG is a little bit more complicated. First of all, last week was MSFT only, and so that's where they're showing 7 cents per share. But if you look, let's not look at that. Let's look at this. These are the dividends. So what happened before? Every time that it was MSFT week or MSFO, I'm sorry, MSFT is the Microsoft. So the YieldMax fund for Microsoft, they would have this like higher dividend payments and then like massive drop for MSFO, massive drop for MSFO, massive drop, and like I guess people were complaining, the shareholders like, why is it always dropping, whatever, and it didn't look pretty. And so what they decided to do is they decided to normalize the dividend amount, and basically they carry forward a little bit of an extra dividend they receive 1 week to kind of smooth out the curve. Then I don't know why over here was such a massive bump up, but their last dividend was 15 cents. Here they paid, bro, check this out, 30 cents. That's completely insane. But and then this is where our estimates are all over the place. You can see the last couple weeks we were actually very close, within 2%. But before that, the variance was gigantic. Like here it's almost 68%, here it's 60% in the opposite direction. Here it was kind of even for three cycles, then another bunch of variances. And the variance happens when it is basically an MSFO week. You can see here, like for example here in April, they made 16 cents, but they paid only 10 cents. And then they made 6 cents and paid 10 cents. Then they made 19, paid 19, so that was close. This was close, this was close. And then again, MSFO week, 6.7 cents, and they paid 21. So they want to smooth the curve, kind of when it's low dividend, and therefore, while our estimate is based on what they actually made, I think they'll pay about 15 cents, 14 cents this cycle, because they want to keep the dividend curve kind of smooth and not jump all over the place. Okay, and that's what they've been doing lately. So I would say about 14-15 cents, that's what they're going to pay. IV, again, it doesn't matter because they pay based on what they collect from the funds they hold, and the funds they hold are basically the Max 7 YieldMax ETFs. Okay, and it's very simple. The YMAG and YMAX are pretty straightforward, but we cannot, guesstimate how much they'll smooth the curve, so to say. So the ALGO estimate shows the actual amount that it calculates, not what we think not how we think they will smooth the curve. Okay, for YMAG, we're not going to do that. We're just going to show you the actual, like, based on the earnings they made this cycle. Okay, and so with that said, let's move on to the SDTY, QDTY, and RDTY. Those are 0-day to expiration ETFs on SPY, which is S&P 500, QQQ, which is NASDAQ, and Russell 2000. Okay, let's start with SDTY. They made 16 cents per share this week, and last payment was 11.5 cents. Let's take a look at the dividend payments. Yeah, last payment was really low. I guess they didn't make a lot of money. No, they did make money. I don't know why they paid very little. Weird. It's a very small fund, just 350,000 shares. It's not really growing, but the dividend estimate shows about 11 to 15 cents. I think they'll pay close to like 15. I mean, 11 to 16 cents. I think they'll pay about 15. Again, they used to pay 22 cents, 22, 22, 26, 27. Probably will pay 15, kind of pay out whatever they made. And if we look at their P&L, yeah, they're in the green, bro. They're not losing money. It's a very nice, very good fund. Kind of on the expensive side, but if you get like 60, 70 cents a month on it, yeah, that's the yield is not super high, but at the same time, it's pretty reliable. Yeah. Let's see if they're actually in the green since the inception. No, they're overall in the red, so that's not cool. I don't know what to tell you, bro. No recommendation on buy or sell, but whatever. Let's close this. Move on to QDTY. They also made 16 cents and also paid about 11.88 last cycle. Wow, that's crazy. And the share price is almost the same. Let's take a look at the dividends. So yeah, it was the lowest. What is going on with this, bros? 32, 31. Okay, well, at least like the number of outstanding shares kind of went up a little bit by 25,000 shares. Yeah, not a big fund. People are just not jumping into it. Estimate 13 to 19 cents. A slightly higher IV, which is good. I guess a little better than SDTY, but nothing to write home about. Again, I think their P&L is green. Yeah, that's nice. Look at that. They made money. I think these guys, they're actually like break even since the inception. But anyway, let's move on. Our DTY or Russell 0DT ETF has the highest IV of the bunch. I think last time they paid 33 cents. This cycle they made 24 cents. Let's take a look at the IV estimate. 18 to 28 cents. I think they'll pay somewhere around 23, 24, maybe 25. Let's see. The lowest payment so far was 21 cents. They're probably also, yeah, they're also in the green. That's nice. But not super in the green. But they're making money. They're not losing money. So that's a good thing. It's reliable. 20 to 30% ALGO estimate for the yield. And the IV estimate is 18 cents. I think they'll pay about 24, 25 based on the income they made. And finally, we're getting to the good stuff. LFGY, CHPY, and GPTY. Let's go. Let's effing go. LFGY. Bro, this fund is growing. Let's take a look at shares outstanding. Yeah, I thought it actually is growing faster, but whatever. Not bad. It's increasing. So they wasn't that good of a week for them. Combined loss 91 cents per share. Not super good, but they are sitting on an amazing $5. So that's like 13% unrealized gain on their holdings. And they have once again stocks and options. Okay, they don't have synthetics. But their strategy, bro, check this out. So ULTY does not buy lottery calls. Okay, ULTY, they basically buy put, sell call. That's what they do. But LFGY, they actually buy lottery calls, and I don't see any puts. I do not. No, they do have some. They sell puts. Wow, that's actually nice. But that's on the MBTXW. That is what you call it, a futures contract on Bitcoin, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But other than that, I do not see any puts in their holdings. They buy calls and they sell calls, and they make money on the stock. So on the stocks, they've earned 63 cents since May. And on the options, they lost almost $2 per share. So that's not good. But again, bro, they're sitting on unrealized $5.31 unrealized gain. And probably they will realize it at some point. Again, the good thing is it does not expire. It's not options. So whenever they decide to cash them in, it will most likely be profit. So that's good for the holders of LFGY. Let's take a look how much the algo estimate expects. 48 cents to 64 cents. That is pretty nice. It's higher than last payment, but bro, they lost 91 cents this cycle. It's not very good. So will they pay this much? IV-based estimate is 51 cents. So I think they will. I think they will. Maybe like 55-ish. Let's take a look what they paid before. Yeah. So here they paid 46, 47. Probably they'll pay about 40, 48-ish, I guess. Or maybe they'll start paying a lot once they cash in the stocks, once they like close the positions. But again, same as ULTY, we have, bro, this is a lot of holdings. Let's hide that. We're not going to look at their stock holdings. But let's take a look at stock trades. This is just one day. Wow. They do a lot of stock trading. Look at that. Or at least this day they were selling. Everything was a sale. What did they? Melly, 45 shares? Wait, this is a... No, Melly doesn't cost $2 per share. That's... has to be a mistake over here. I gotta check the holdings because Melly is like a couple thousand per share. That's whatchamacallit. What do you call the stock? Mercado Libre. Yeah, $2,500 per share. So I do not know why it says quantity 45 shares, price $2. I don't think so. And it says stock. It was an option. I don't know. If it was an option, it would be in this column. So again, bro, we split the option trades from the stock trades to keep it simple. But whatever. I will check into this. It's got to be something else. It probably was. They probably made like 45 shares times $2,500. That's like over 100 grand. What? So 45 x 2,500, 112,000. So this would be like $500,000. And then I'm gonna quickly scroll up. There's a lot of data, so this would be slightly better. $1 million, whatever. So it's probably bad data from YieldMax. Our system doesn't make that kind of mistake. But anyway, so yeah, they'll probably pay 50-cent dividend, and once they cash in the stocks, there's gonna be a big payday. But I don't know when that will happen. So let's move on. Let's move on to CHPY. So CHPY also lost 53 cents per share, but they're sitting on an amazing $12 per share unrealized gain on their stock holdings. Okay, and so last time they paid 40 cents, 40% IV. Let's quickly jump into the estimate. So algo thinks we're going to get 38 to 52 cents, and the IV estimate is 40 cents, so the same as last time. Quick look at the dividends. Yeah, they will probably pay about 40, 42 cents, 45-ish. So yeah, well, good luck to those who hold CHPY. And last but not least, GPTY. We are also sitting on a pretty good gain, unrealized gain on the stocks, and a small loss, 28 cents per share on the trades, both stocks and options. Let's take a look here, 31 cents to 43 cents. What did they pay before? So yeah, this is like probably lower end of this 31 cents. I think that's what they will pay. Or the IV 34 cents. So somewhere in that range. All right, bro. Yeah, it was super long. I spent a lot of time on msty or on ULTY, but it applies to LFGY, CHPY, and GPTY also because they both sell stocks and options, trade stocks and options. So we finally have that piece figured out. We finally have a combined P&L for both of them, so you can keep better track of how much money they make or lose. This is not just debit credit on the sales or on sales or buys. This is an actual P&L, realized gains and losses on stocks. So I'm very excited about that, bro. So if you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. It really helps. I just made the Group D prediction video, so be sure to check it out. Again, I know this is super late. We just have like 6 hours until declaration. By the time you see this video, maybe they already announced the dividends, but good luck to everyone. We are in our last week of the YieldMax tracker promo, 25% lifetime discount. Okay, it ends after 4th of July weekend. So if you want to lock in that lifetime discount 25%, be sure to use the link in the description below. It applies the discount right away. It takes you to the shopping cart, and that applies the coupon. And we offer 7 days free trial, so you can test drive this, play with this. If you don't like it, you can cancel. no hard feelings. We would love you to join the family. So with that said, bro, thanks for watching, and I will be making a detailed video about ULTY, my bull case for that fund, now that I have a complete picture about their options and stock P&L. With that said, I'll see you later. Peace.